Jump on my back, hold on tight. Let's do it together. Let's go for a ride. Let's go for a ride.
Eiffel Tower listeners, you are hearing me from a small village in Brittany called Plédron. And I'm here with season 4 co-host Lena. How you doing?
Oh, I got a title now, huh?
What did I say? Co-host?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're the co-host. You are for the season.
Can I go ahead and print some business cards?
You can if you want. I don't know where we're going to find a printer.
We're in the middle of the countryside in France.
And as I've said...
And hello. I didn't say hi.
Right, well,
hi.
Hello straight back to you.
Yeah.
And to all you listeners out there who are wondering, if you're wondering what the heck is going on, this is the honeymoon season. Lena and I just got married. We're traveling around France in a vague-ish heart shape. Starting from Paris, heading northwest, and going all the way down to Marseille, Nice-ish, and then back up again.
Yeah.
That's basically it.
That's the plan.
And we're about 2 weeks in. And we've done about 800 kilometers. How are you feeling?
Quickly.
Tell the truth. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling a little bit tired.
Yeah, me too.
Just a little bit tired.
Even though we've just had a weekend without riding any scooter at all in this small village in Brittany.
Yeah, the village of...
Plédron,
yep. Where our very good friend Fabien, fantastic, foxy, fine Fabien, as he's also known as.
So we've done a few videos with him, and
people.
He seems to have a few fans out there. But he's gone back to Paris now, and we're on the road again. But what we figured we'd do is we'd share, instead of just telling you all the things we've done, we've penned a list. We didn't pen it at all. I wrote it on the computer, but we came up with 10 of the best things. In fact, what I wrote was the 10 things you have to do in northwestern France before you die. It sounds a bit morbid.
It does, but also I think it's necessary.
I think, yeah.
Because you do only live once.
Exactly right. And you should spend a good week or two in northwestern France. So what I'm talking about is Normandy and Brittany. We obviously haven't seen everything, but this is kind of the things that we think.
But I feel like we asked around enough and asked enough listeners.
True.
For one, and also people we know, friends.
We've had a lot of recommendations,
who said the top destinations, and not just because we don't want just touristy things.
Exactly. And
so
spoiler alert.
Favorites.
Spoiler alert. Giverny is nowhere in the list.
Yeah.
As great as it might be.
It didn't cut it.
But I'll tell you what did cut it. I think we just get straight into it.
Go for it.
What we'll do is we're going to go 1 through 5, kind of rapid fire, and then stop for a little break. Well, we'll stop for a break. You guys will keep listening, I think. And then, well, who knows? And then do the next 5 and a few updates along the way of what we've been up to. So, number 1, I've written here, walk the walls, the ramparts of Saint Malo at sunset.
What do you call it? Rampart?
I don't know if that's the word, ramparts. It's. I read it once.
Rampage?
No, it's like the bits, the city walls, the top bits. It might not be called ramparts. Someone will email in and tell me if I'm wrong, but I feel like it's called the ramparts. And it's a small, really old fortified town called Saint Malo, or it looks like Saint Malo.
Saint Malo, if you are Peter G., the father of Oliver G.
Oh, right. Is that what he calls it?
Saint Malo.
I wonder if he's listening.
I didn't understand what he was talking about the first time I heard it, but Peter, that's it, yeah.
Okay, so there's a shout out to your father-in-law now.
Yeah.
Anyway, so for Saint Malo, what we did is we did at sunset a walk along. It's on the beach. There's really old, beautiful village. You can walk around the top of the walls that surround the city. And I say do it at sunset because that's exactly what we did. And we made a video of it. It was very windy.
So windy.
But so beautiful.
It's great. I think it was best time of day. Maybe sunrise, but we did
We're
not
yet
make
to see
that.
a sunrise on this trip, actually.
Yeah.
But this is all going to be on the EiffelTower.com, but if you spend... And Saint Malo is probably one of my favourite places that I've ever been in France, and I have been there before.
It's
it
so
really
good.
is brilliant. And walk around the top. You don't need to pay anything. You just get in there and you go for a walk.
I wouldn't mind staying a whole weekend.
Yeah, for sure. But everything we've been doing so far has been basically one night.
Yeah.
So we've been getting a taste test. It's like a planche mixte, which is
very
a mix
in
of...
and out.
Planche mixte, if you don't know, is like a cheese and cold cuts of ham, which people often eat in. I know you know, Lena, but some listeners perhaps don't.
They might not.
It feels kind of like we're doing the planche mixte tour of France.
Yeah.
I like to say.
Yeah.
Anyway, so there's one tip. Do that before you die. But number 2. So this was actually from a listener. A couple of listeners wrote in and said, you've got to go to Bayeux. And we did.
We did, and we were not disappointed.
And the thing that you have to see, they all said, go and see the tapestry. And I remember thinking, yeah, tapestry. I've seen a lot of tapestries in my time.
It's like an old carpet hanging on the wall.
Carpet on the wall.
I get it.
But we went there and we checked it out, and it really is worth the visit.
It's very special. It's simple. It's a simple museum, but it was really good. One of the better ones that I've been to.
So essentially, it's this tapestry I think it was 70 meters long. So if you can imagine 70 meters long and maybe a meter high, and what you do is it's behind a glass and you walk along it. It takes maybe 10, 15, 20 minutes with an earpiece, or you hold up the audio guide to your ear. And it's about it's about 1,000-year-old battle, basically.
Yeah, it's
France
an embroidered piece of cloth.
So it's a whole story about France and England 1,000 years ago, William the Conqueror and all that. So you imagine, as you go along, it says this image depicts this battle, for example. And it really, I mean, the town of Bayeux, if you're there as well, is just worth it anyway. The cathedral was brilliant. Had a crypt.
The canals.
The whole thing was really picturesque.
Yeah, I had no idea.
Yeah.
It was very, very nice.
If you're sitting here thinking, this isn't studio quality sound I'm listening to, although the first one was quite good from an Airbnb in Normandy.
Yeah, so we got air under our wings.
How so?
What? Is that not how you say it? I think that might be a Swedish expression. Anyways, we got water on our mill.
What are you trying to say?
Is that also Swedish?
I don't know what you're trying to say.
Okay, so we basically thought that was good enough quality last time, so we're like,
I like it.
We got excited, yeah.
No, but what I was going to say is we're in a bedroom in a small village in Brittany. We don't have the Paris studio, of course.
Yeah.
So you're hearing us from the countryside. You're learning Swedish expressions or the translations of them.
Yeah, which there are many.
And hopefully you're learning a few things about northwestern France. And
which is the goal.
Let's get on with it. Number 3.
Yeah, number 3. What have you written? Walk Old Town Bernay.
Yeah, walk the old town of it. We found, I maybe mentioned this in episode 2 of this season, the honeymoon season, but we stayed in a town that we had no idea about. We were on the way to Deauville, which
doesn't... Like a layover,
Deauville doesn't make the list, by the way.
No.
Deauville is lovely.
It didn't make the highlight list.
There were definitely highlights, and it was charming, and it was pretty.
It was, but not, I don't know.
I'd say
maybe it's just not us.
If you're going to die...
Maybe it's not us.
If you're going to die, do 10 of these things before you go to Deauville, I think. It's really, it's probably not as charming as it was when Coco Chanel was kicking about. I
pushed for going there, because I was curious.
You're a Chanel fan.
Well, yeah, I'm into fashion.
And it was nice, and the beach was nice. It was nice, but it's very touristy, saturated.
I just felt a bit underwhelmed because it was so busy, and it was just not what I thought, what I had in mind.
But what you should do, and what we did, is we stayed in a town called Bernay, Bernay, on the way to Deauville, and that's why we picked it, because it was about a day's drive from where we were the previous night. And we knew nothing about this town, and we were absolutely gobsmacked and stunned by how pretty it was. Like these half-timbered buildings, and by total chance, we were staying right in the middle of this old town.
It's beautiful.
And they got this old abbey, that cathedral or abbey or whatever it was, which is also free. You just walk in. Really stunningly beautiful. The history, and they have all the history signs written in English, which is rare for
It's like it
Paris
was made
anyway.
to be a tourist destination, but the tourists just hadn't found it.
Yeah, no one's mentioned it before. I don't know. I'd lived in Paris for 3 years, never heard of Bernay.
No, except Bernay sauce.
Bernay sauce, which I don't think it has anything to do with it. Although we just walked around we had a night there basically, and it was just stunning. So write that. Anyway, this is all written down. Bernay, check it out. Number 4 is something we actually did today, and that is we went and saw the pink granite stones at a village, a coastal village in Brittany called Ploumanac'h.
Yeah.
Ploumanac'h.
It was so nice that it didn't look real.
I know, these huge... You know that Pink Floyd album with the big stone head? Do you know which one I'm talking about? It looked like that, big rocks, but pink and everywhere. Some of them balanced really precariously looking on top of each other.
Yeah.
And just in every direction you look, the whole beach was these massive smooth stones.
Natural sculpture park.
It reminded me of some of those parks in
Garden of the Gods.
Exactly, over in Utah and stuff like that.
Exactly, that's what I thought.
It had that kind of feel crossed with the beach, and the village itself was ranked, I think, 2014 as the most the village préféré, like the top village of the whole country. Mm-hmm. So Ploumanac'h, and it's in Brittany, and the way it's spelled is kind of cool. At the end, it ends in ACH, but there's an apostrophe between the C and the H.
Yeah, but up there, up in Brittany, or that part of Brittany as well, especially maybe, all the road signs are in 2 languages.
Yeah, because of the Breton language, which we've been sort of trying to pick up. Cheers, ear mat.
Ear mat, like an ear and a mat.
The flag, Gwenadu.
Yeah.
Our host Fabian has stuck a flag of Brittany on the scooter itself.
So we represent him wherever we go now.
Yeah, he's promised us that it will help us out of many a pickle down the road. But it's funny because when we were in Normandy, we were talking to a family in this farm that we were staying at, which I think is going to come up later on the list. And we were talking about the rivalry between Normandy and Brittany. And they said, you know when you meet someone from Brittany because they'll have a flag with them. And it's been quite true. I saw, we went past a house today and it had 2 sunflowers out the front. And each of the sunflowers had a Breton flag
so
attached.
even the flowers are flagging.
Yeah, even the flowers are flagging.
Wow.
It's the most flag-rich. It's more flag-rich than a flag store.
Yeah, it's flag-dense.
I'm not a big fan of too many flags.
I know you're not.
But Brittany, you're quite charming.
They
you can get away with it.
Yeah,
you get away with it.
It's fine.
And it's called Gwenadu, which in the local language means black and white, which is the colour of the flag.
And I was actually wondering about the Breton language. Mm-hmm. It's called Breton, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's because it reminded me a lot of, not that I speak it, but Welsh.
Yes,
like
because it is a Celtic part of the world.
Spelling and the name, it just sounds and looks very similar.
There's a definite Celtic connection. In fact, it's one of the Celtic. Some people say there's Celtic, not countries, but there's like 5 Celtic zones or something.
Region.
Yeah, and this is one of them. And they have Celtic music festivals and stuff.
Yeah, they seem very into like the medieval stuff.
But getting back to it, go to Ploumanac'h. Point 4, do it before you die. Definitely don't do it after you die.
No.
Point 5, before we have a break, we've written try. It might sound obvious, but we'll tell you some of the ones we've done. Try the local delicacies. And,
it's important because it's so easy to go somewhere and you just take the simple choice.
Yeah,
because
or
you go somewhere and you see the pizza and the pizza looks nice, smells nice, but
the steak. I almost took a steak in Normandy in Deauville, next to Deauville, and I changed my mind at the last minute and took a fish. I took salmon, and she goes, "Don't have the salmon, have the bar." And it was the best. It was the best choice that someone made for me.
Yeah.
But that kind of stuff. So here in Brittany and Normandy, it's a lot of cider, and they serve it out of these bowls. And so when you're here, if you make it here, be sure to forget about your Heineken beer or whatever,
absolutely,
or your Coca-Cola, and just get a cidre and get it. Everyone keeps telling us get it brut, B-R-U-T. Don't get it doux. Soft, I think, D-O-U-X.
Exactly, because the doux one is sweeter and it's not as Bayeux. They keep saying it's not as good.
Yeah.
Everyone says.
So try that stuff. We also had galettes, a lot of crepes.
A lot of that,
kinnaman. I can't pronounce it. It's a Breton word. We call it kinnaman or cinnamon, but it's pronounced something like kinnaman, and it's this quinaman. Delicious.
Like
was
it? It's basically a croissant, shape of a cinnamon bun, like fried in caramel.
Yeah. It wasn't healthy.
Oh, it's as far from healthy you can get. Probably,
so have one before you die, because if you have too many, your death will be brought on quicker.
Imminent. So
that's the top 5 that we've written. So we'll have a little break now, and I want to do a word from our sponsors. That will be the break.
Go for it.
Okay, so the sponsors of this show, well, I don't have sponsors of this show, as many of you know. I'm going to use the P word again, Patreon. That is how, basically how I'm filling up the petrol tank and buying Kenneman is and keeping the show. This is my job. So if you guys want to support it, for $10 a month on patreon.com/The Earful Tower, you can become a subscriber. And you might be sitting there thinking, hey, I heard about this before. Or you might be thinking, $10 is a lot of money. Or you might be thinking, what do I get for that? Well, let me tell you what you get for it. You get all the videos that we're doing on this trip and in Paris, all the way back, all the walk shows. And just give you a little list of some of the ones that I've done in the last week since I last spoke to you. Is last night making galettes with Fabien the Breton in his kitchen.
I think that was a fun one.
That was pretty fun. So we pressed live on the video camera and we were showing the listeners how to make galettes. And there's about...
Yeah, it's like exclusive access to the proper Breton kitchen.
Get in the kitchen with us.
Oh, yeah.
There's I think there's 200 paying subscribers now. So when there is actually 200, it's very close. We're going to celebrate. But here are some of the other ones. We did that Saint Malo walk, sunset, live. It was so windy that we almost couldn't do it. The camera almost blew off the stabilizer. We did a Mont Saint-Michel walk where we went up through the beautiful Mont Saint-Michel. And we also did Ploumanac'h today, the granite. Fabien and I did a video, but not live. I haven't put that one up yet. But that's for the subscribers. Anyway, we're not doing ads for mattresses or audiobooks here. I'm doing an ad for Patreon. Support the show. It's like the price of an expensive magazine a month. I think you get a little more out of it. Anyway, that was the ad. Back on with the show?
For sure.
I don't really know where we are. I just wanna look at the stars. Let's go for a ride, ride, ride. Let's go for a ride, ride, ride. Taking our time, time, time. Taking our time. A ride.
And here we are for the second half. You might be
Hello
thinking, not much energy in the first half. Because that's what we were thinking, and it could be because we've driven 800 kilometers.
Maybe.
Could that be it?
Maybe.
It could also be, I've been sick.
Yeah.
You know why I've been sick? I'm going to give you because if I ever write a book about this trip, this will have to be part of the book.
Yeah, it has to make the cuts. Not like Deauville.
No. I was really sick, and I thought, oh, not only am I really sick, but there's a very strange mark on my leg.
It was huge.
And I felt really terrible. And we talked to some people, and
Feverish.
fever, yeah.
everything.
And I thought it was just riding on the scooter all day, but you seem to be pretty fine.
Yeah, but
So-
I kind of like sympathize and.
And you
I
said
felt sick with you.
Oliver, go to the doctor. So we went to a really small doctor in a really small town.
She was normal size.
Yeah, a really small doctor's surgery in a town called Vire, V-I-R-E, where we were just pulled over on the side of the road. And she took one look at me and she said, "Yeah, I'm pretty sure you got Lyme disease." Or she said, "If you don't have Lyme disease, it looks suspiciously like it." Which, if you've never heard of it before, it's a disease you get when a tick bites you. She said, "Have you been rolling around in the forests or something?" She didn't say that. She said, "Have you been
In
have you been in the nature?" And I said, "Yes, I have." And she goes, "Yeah, this could be Lyme disease." And which incidentally I've Googled since and can lead to like paralysis and stuff if you don't get it
Yeah,
treated.
it can be pretty
It's
serious.
really serious.
So
No
no wonder you felt bad.
"Yeah, I know." And then she said, she gave
It's
me.
good that you felt something at all.
Yeah, that's
you
true.
know?
She gave me about 100 pills to take over the next 3 weeks,
Oh.
and then she said, "You'll be fine."
It basically doubled our packing.
Yeah, I know. She
We need
gave
a
it.
sidecar.
Anyway, I feel a lot better now. But if you're thinking we were a little bit down in the first half, well, look, I've got Lyme disease potentially, so cut me some
Penicillin
slack.
has kicked in for the second half.
Anyway, you're here because you want to hear tips for northwestern France, and we're going to give you 5 more. I'm going to start with a really obvious one. In fact, the most obvious one, I think, is Mont Saint-Michel, which is a really old abbey that you have. If you haven't seen it, go on Google Images right now, Mont Saint-Michel.
You will have seen it.
You will have seen it. It looks
Even
like,
if you don't know you've seen it.
it looks like the Disney
It's a fairy
castle.
tale.
Yep. And what our tip is here is, because, 3 million people go there a year. Everyone knows about it.
It's
but
not a secret.
it's no secret. I never promise secrets, though, to be honest, in this episode.
Yeah.
So the tip is, you can take a free shuttle over there. But what we did is we went walking at low tide along the sand, which is a huge expanse of sand.
Massive.
And what we can tip you to do, we didn't do it, but a lot of people were doing it, where they were drawing these massive messages in the sand.
Huge
Yeah, like,
messages.
really enormous.
Like they could have been 50 meters in diameter.
Yeah, like big love hearts and stuff.
Yeah.
And then when you get to the top, so you walk up, also free entrance and everything, you walk right up to the top, and then you can see the message and take a picture.
It's pretty sweet. We didn't really realize it as we were walking down. You
No.
can't really see it from the bottom,
No.
but from the top, it's very special.
So that's something to do on top of the typical go to Mont Saint-Michel, which obviously we recommend too. But let's get on with that bit. That's an obvious one. So number 7. Here's one you maybe never heard about. I wrote, visit the charming village of Dinan. Dinan in Brittany.
Dinan.
Yeah, what we did is we went, it's this medieval town with these really old half-timbered houses and cobbledy,
And winding streets.
winding streets.
Windling.
As you call them. Don't know where that comes from. But we went all the way down to the
Swindling.
bottom and had cider sitting on the canal. And it was really picturesque.
Oh, it's a good experience.
And it's another one of those ones that people don't say, hey, after Mont Saint-Michel, go to Dinan.
I never heard of it.
No one said that to me before.
No. I think it's like, it's overshadowed by the likes of Saint Malo and Mont Saint Michel.
Yep.
And
So if you're coming from Paris and you're thinking you're going to do a day trip or a weekend trip, consider completing the triangle and going to Dinan, because it's really beautiful. And there's a restaurant.
It's definitely worth it.
Yeah, go to the restaurant at the bottom and have a cider. I don't remember the name of the restaurant, but you'll find it. And we just sat there.
And you overlook it. It's a big aqueduct.
Big viaduct, yeah.
Viaduct, that's it.
And it was pretty.
Oh, it's really pretty.
So Dinan, Dinan.
Slippery cobblestones, though.
Yeah, I slipped. I was wearing Birkenstocks. We're not
Where's
sponsored by Birkenstocks.
Not at all.
No, but
Not at all.
I was wearing them, and I went for a tumble almost.
Yeah. Consider walking shoes.
Yes, be sensible, unlike me.
Be sensible.
Point 8 on the list is something a bit more somber than the typical tourist experiences, but it's the D-Day beaches, which is where the Allies landed and fought during World War II, and there's a lot of museums and even just going to the beaches and looking at, like, when you drive through the towns, there's all these like old tanks and stuff on the side of the road.
It's basically a huge museum.
Yeah, and when I say tanks on the side of the road, I don't mean like they've been left there to rot. They've been done up
like
as tourists. Yeah, monuments and stuff.
But the beach in itself is beautiful and
we went. I was swimming in Courcelles-sur-Mer, really beautiful. But what we went to, and I did a video for you Patreon guys that I'm going to upload, is we went onto Juno Beach, which is one of the Canadian, or it's the Canadian beach, and it was a bit different, that one, because a lot of people have heard of Omaha and Utah and I think
this one
Sword
at
Beach.
Juno is like sandwiched in between the two British ones.
That's right. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
So that's something, and I think for regular listeners of the show who've probably noticed, as Lena has, that as time goes on, I'm getting more interested in history. I have a feeling...
After the wedding, you're just like transformed
Do you think?
quickly
Really?
into an old man.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I think one day I'm going to do a trip up to that whole D-Day section and just go exploring and do videos and podcast episodes.
It is interesting.
It really
to be
is.
fair, it's very,
it really
very
is.
interesting, and it's done in a very, it's a good way.
Yeah. So there's tip 8. Do that before you die. And number 9 is something that we've done that has been pretty fun. Is I've written stay in a farmhouse. Now, what I mean by that is we've done it a couple of times, and we found one through Airbnb. In fact, we found a couple through Airbnb. But there's a lot, as you go a bit more inland or away from the tourist destinations, there's a lot of places you can stay that are farmhouses or were.
The converted cider presses.
Yeah, we stayed in a converted cider press, and we stayed in a farmhouse where they were all. It used to be a dairy.
Yeah, no, it's really good, and it's just they have so much more personality than a chain hotel, for example.
Exactly.
Which is very easy to find these chain hotels if you're looking for a special price point as you're traveling for maybe a little bit longer, as we are doing. But yeah, so this is a really good option.
And what
option.
I mean, and one that we stayed at, we shared the house with these people. So if you're looking for a private trip, it's probably not for you. But we met a family in Normandy somewhere, and we went in, and they were so kind. French people in the countryside are so kind.
Home.
I know, they treat us like their children, and the dad, the father figure, the owner of the house, perhaps he fixed parts of the scooter, or they gave us dinner and drinks and nothing. They didn't have to do any of that stuff.
None of it, absolutely.
And they really took us in. And so what I've written here as a note is you can find these places really easily on. They're called chambre d'hôte as well. So there's a website like and gîte. It's a kind of gîte as well, Gite. So there's ways of finding these that aren't just through Airbnb. There are plenty of ways to track them down.
Yeah, it's a French website,
exactly.
I guess. So I've never heard of it before, but yeah.
But you see them as you're driving along. You see the sign for chambre d'hôte, and they're really easy to find. And the point is, consider. Especially if you're traveling off-season and staying in these kind of places and not just hotels, because you get a real different feel. Like we've been staying among cornfields, basically, in the middle of nowhere, and it's been so
Animals,
nice. Yeah, horses and ponies and stuff. Yeah. We were
just
at one
walking around.
at the cider press. There was just this little pony, and a really little pony at that. And the owner was like, I don't think it was their pony. She goes, he just walks around here sometimes.
So he just arrives, he escapes, and he comes here. You can't really chase him away because he'll come back.
Cute.
Very charming.
So do that. And on to point 10, I think, to wind things up. This is a kind of similar, actually, and it's a tip that we've definitely learned quickly on the scooter. But I've written, take the back roads.
Yeah.
So when you're traveling in France, I assume you'll be in a car. So first things first, you'll probably be on the freeway because when you put it in the GPS or Google Maps, it takes you the direct.
Well, it's efficient if you want to get somewhere quickly.
Yeah.
Of course, it's great.
Sure, but my tip is get off those main roads, get on the small roads, pass through the villages and small towns, and the whole country will open up to you.
It'll be a totally different experience. You'll see things that you never would have otherwise. It's just off the beaten track, off the
I assume
tourist
that's
path.
the case for every country. I mean, because we've driven in America and it was like that there. But here, the villages have a certain feel. They got a real personality. They've all got their local butcher and baker. Every single village has a butcher and a baker. Some too. So even the small villages that have 2 bakeries.
I know.
Yeah.
They love it. And also, it seems like even the small villages have their own version of like their own little bread or special twist to the baguette or a little galette or something.
Yeah.
Something small. Everyone has their own specialty.
So take the back roads, go into these bakeries and say, what's the specialty of the region or whatever.
Might be bad for your waistline,
but
hey.
I can imagine it would be. But do it. Travel. If you travel in France, get off like I said, go to Mont Saint-Michel and Saint Malo if you're coming to northwestern France. Hey, go to Monet's garden in Giverny as well. I'm sure it's brilliant. But there is a lot more to it. And there's such old buildings, beautiful town halls in some of these villages. And go check it out. But I will say, if you are in countryside France, don't frolic too much in the forest. Because you might just get a tick on your leg.
Oh no, it'll be fine soon. Don't fret.
Okay. Anyway, on that note, I think we've got to get on with it. So
I think so.
If you want to follow the trip, best bet to do it: Instagram, Facebook.
Yeah.
We're on. It's on Spotify now. You know, the podcast.
Well, that feels very cool.
Yeah, it's really cool if you search on Spotify. I mean, you probably don't know that because it's just on Spotify and you're probably not listening. But if you prefer listening on Spotify, do it. The other big news, can't believe I forgot it. I looked at the download figures for all time. 250,000.
This is huge.
Yeah, that's, wow.
I feel like we haven't celebrated enough.
No, I think I'm going to wait for 1 million to do the proper celebration.
All right.
That could be a long time coming.
In a week?
No, in a week. In like 3 years. But I just want to say, actually, in all sincerity, thanks to you guys who've listened. I mean, even just this far in the episode means a lot to me. But over the past year and a half, the fact that 250,000 is a figure, it makes you think it's not just my mum sitting there pressing refresh anymore. Because that's just too many times.
That would be insane.
There's a lot of listeners out there now.
Yeah.
I'm really grateful for you guys and for all the emails that you guys send and the kind words and the reviews and all that stuff. It keeps me going. So thank you. Yeah, that's basically it.
That's basically it for now.
And I'm going to add, if you want to see all the extra stuff, you want to be where the fun is, you want to follow along live, you know where to go. I've already said it. Patreon.com/the Eiffel Tower. I'll see you there. Otherwise, another episode on Monday. Do you know where we're going to be then, by the way?
No.
No.
I don't think anyone does.
No,
we
no
don't
one
know.
does. But we'll be there and we'll be putting out an episode. So look forward.
We're heading south, though.
South, and quickly, where the sun's still shining.
Yes.
And where crocodiles are lurking. What am
Dun,
I talking
dun,
about?
dun,
I'm not going to tell you.
dun.
Tune in the coming days. Talk soon, guys.
Bye.